5 o'clock, and I will call the Public Works meeting to order. I will start out with a roll call. Alder Menzer. Here. Alder Bellinger. Here. Alder Borse. Here. Alder Rust is excused, and Alder Decker is here, so we will start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty, we'll start with number 4, approval of the minutes from June 23rd. Second. Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion on those minutes? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Those are approved. We have no public comment right now, I don't believe. We will go to number 6, resolution number 56-2526, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to execute a First Amendment to option and land lease relating to the operation of a wireless communications tower and related structures at the wastewater facility property located at 3333 Lakeshore Drive, Sheboygan. That's a Liz. Attorney Majerus.
Good afternoon. This matter is an extension and an amendment to an existing lease that we have for cellular infrastructure located at the wastewater treatment facility. The amendment that's before you tonight has been reviewed by staff, including wastewater treatment superintendent Jordan Skiff and city administrator Bradley. This item extends the lease. It also increases the rental fee that the city will recoup for this lease, and the terms are largely consistent with those that were in place before.
Okay, thank you. Second. Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion on this? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Chair votes aye. That's approved. Okay, number 7, resolution number 60-2526, a resolution authorizing and directing the chief of police to temporarily close certain streets to prohibit parking and close boat ramps within the Harbor Center Marina in support of the 2025 Midwest P1 race event, August 7th through the 10th, 2025. Attorney Majerus.
Thank you. So this document identifies areas of the city that we know we need to enact some regulations specific to the P1 event and the block party leading up to it. But then it also has language in there that's more broadly permissible to the police chief and the director of Public Works to make other decisions in their professional judgment that are necessary or appropriate to protect health and safety.
Okay, so this, in other words, gives them like real-time changes if all of a sudden, hey, we notice we're having problems here, we need to block this street off, we can do it.
Exactly. We need to impose a no parking restriction for this block because these trailers just need this extra width, or we notice that the pedestrian traffic in this stretch is a lot higher than anticipated, so we're going to close it off to vehicles. We're going to detour them around this site. Okay, thank you. Alder Bellinger.
Thank you. I think this is fantastic.
And my question for the attorney is, if we pass this really quickly, can we send them over to 3rd Street and block off 3rd Street for the food truck event?
Noted.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on it? Okay, are we looking for a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. That is approved. All right, number 8, resolution number 61-2526, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to enter into a state municipal agreement with the State of Wisconsin Department of Transportation for the Carbon Reduction Program Project, New Jersey Avenue Trail, South Taylor Drive to River Park Road. Kevin.
Good afternoon. Alder Decker, I want to remind you that there's a substitute resolution or quick modification.
Yes.
But stepping forward, so last summer, staff applied for a carbon reduction grant that was eligible from federal highways and administered through WSDOT. So carbon reduction is, it's anything that can provide strategies to reduce carbon emissions within the city. staff had looked at a trail along New Jersey Avenue from Kiwanis Park over to the Taylor Drive Trail. But given the cost, we never proceeded with the project. This grant provided us an opportunity to move forward with that. And we were just recently notified that we were awarded almost 1.1 million with a 20% match, taking it up to a project total of about 1.4 million. This will build a grade separated bike trail from Kiwanis Park all the way up to the Taylor Drive Trail, street lighting, 10-foot paved trail similar to what is along Taylor Drive.
Awesome. I think this is a really a great thing to continue to connect these trails all together. To have this network of trails going through the city and making us a more bike-friendly city. I think this is a really positive and an awesome thing. Other comments? Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion's made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You have to. Okay. Whoa. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We have to make an amendment to this. So if we need to amend the resolution to reflect $1,086,199.20 as maximum federal state contribution to the project. So someone has to make the motion of that.
So moved.
Okay, motion's made and seconded on the amendment. Any discussion on that? All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Okay, now we're back to the original thing. All those in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. That part is approved also. Okay. Moving on to... Okay. Resolution number 9, resolution number 632526, a resolution authorizing the appropriate city officials to enter into agreement with MSA Professional Services, Inc. for the completion of the Sheboygan Safe Streets and Roads for All SS4A action plan. Kevin.
Thank you. So back in November of 23, the city was awarded a Safe Streets for All grant. I believe we signed the agreement in May of 24, and we're finally to the point where we're looking to hire a consultant to help us through the process. It's a $250,000 project, and $200,000 of that is reimbursable.
Okay.
I mean, I'd ask Ann, this is Ann Holzum from MSA, I'd ask her or ask you to ask her the technical questions to the program. I'm not that familiar with the details, but Ann can definitely answer those questions.
Hi.
Okay. Hello there. Thank you for coming. I don't have a question right now off the bat, but I will open it up to my fellow committee members. I think this is an awesome thing. We can finish up these be more on with these complete streets. I've seen what a complete street in my neighborhood has done. It's and it's an awesome thing. It's reduced speeds. It's done a lot of great things. So, you have comments? Questions? Alder Bellinger.
Thank you. I read the document, and it states that it's intended for municipalities that have issues with unsafe streets and fatalities. That's not the case in Sheboygan, is it? I mean, our state streets aren't deemed unsafe, or we don't have an excess amount of fatalities on our streets, do we?
Well, that is one thing we'll be looking at. We will analyze all the crash data, but it's just to improve safety. Now, that doesn't mean that you have a ton of fatalities. We're trying to reduce all those fatalities. We're just trying to reduce crashes in general and just make it safer, make people feel safer to walk and bike and use multimodal transportation. This, if I can give a bit of a background on this, it's a federal grant that was brought into law. I think it was the 2021 infrastructure bill, and it's a two-part grant. So you apply for the action plan, And then you need the action plan to get the second part of the grant. The second part of the grant is actually construction, implementation. So once you have your action plan, you have your recommendations, there is maybe some countermeasures you want to use, maybe enhance a school crossing or something like that to make it safer. Then you can apply that to all your different school locations that you want to make these enhancements, apply for this implementation grant, and communities are getting, all across the states, are getting tons of money for this implementation, the actual construction of these solutions. So.
Yes, and I would just like to see forward, as far as the complete streets, as far as do you look at certain areas in the city where we have done things like the bump outs and things like that, it makes it much safer for pedestrians. Otherwise people are playing Frogger trying to get across streets and, trying to get it whereas if you have the bump outs, you slow the traffic down, you bring it down and make it a more walkable, especially in certain areas like down by the, Northside Beach, ththings like that, where Southside Beach by King Park, areas like that where you really need to slow things down. Some of the school areas, I know that, in my neighborhood, Broadway Avenue is kind of a fast street. I mean, it's only 2 blocks away from James Madison School. So, if we can do things like that to reduce speeds and make our areas more walkable, more safe. I mean, just because we haven't had a fatality, that's a good thing. But let's continue to work towards not having fatalities. So, Alder Boris, you're next up on the.
I've reviewed the plan as well, and I know there's an extensive list of items that will be reviewed and worked through as part of this process. What's the length of time that it typically takes to complete the studies and make the recommendations so that we move forward to the next phase?
I believe we did, was it a little over a year? We were looking at a little over a year to get because there's several pieces to this. First, you analyze all your existing data, do a crash analysis, and then engagement of the public is huge because, like you're saying, you might not have fatalities. Thank God we don't have a whole lot of fatalities of peds and bikes, but we're also looking at this: what other safety do people feel safe? I mean, and would they feel safer if things were done differently? So there's a big public involvement piece in this to engage people and all across the city. And then there's also demonstration activities. We can set up, I think we have in there 4 different demonstration activities where we can set out a bump out at a school. I walk my kids to Wilson every day, and we have police officers that have come out there because there has been near misses. Thank God nobody's been hit, but there has been complaints that cars are going so fast, they don't see the kids standing at the curb because of the parked cars. You can't, when you're driving down, you can't see a kid over that parked car. But if you had a bump out and a kid had a safe place to wait, you would have increased yielding from those cars. They'd be able to say, oh, there's somebody actually waiting to cross. They would slow down and you have better yielding. So I don't know if that helps answer your question.
No, it does. I appreciate that. I know it's taken us some time to get here to this point because it was approved quite some time ago. So that was part of the reason that I wanted to understand the timeline. I personally live near a 5-way stop that I feel like is quite dangerous because I can't count the number of accidents that I have seen almost happen. And the almost to me is just as bad as the actual crashes. So I see a lot of value in this. I'm looking forward to outcomes of what the studies show us and what actions we can take to, I think, make it a more, specifically more bike-friendly, walker-friendly city. So thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Chairman. Real quick, you mentioned schools. Is that what you're going to be focusing on, or are the studies going to be comprehensive over the entire city?
Comprehensive, that's just a piece of it.
Okay.
It just is an easy example to use.
Sure.
But comprehensive.
Naturally, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Alderman Elgin, did you?
Thank you. I would just like to put in a personal request that we look at the 6th and Superior goofy roundabout that is kind of ridiculous there and eliminate that because that causes more problems than it was intended to fix. And that is right by Grant School. And I get frequent complaints about how idiotic that thing is. So, yeah, that'll definitely be part of it. Okay, looking at that.
My request is for Erie and 25th, so.
And this is why we have the public engagement, because I'm assuming there'll be a lot of input.
So that's good. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of it. Yep. Any other questions? All right, I'd be looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. That's approved. Well, that brings us to the end. Next meeting date is July 28th, 2025. I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.
Even I'm thinking, you said Erie in 25th?
It's a 5-minute stop.
Oh, yeah, right.